All right, let's do a little bit about the Holy Temple. We're supposed to learn about the Holy Temple here every day, and that helps to build the Holy Temple. So let's do it. Okay, the first temple was built by King Solomon. The second temple was built 70 years after the temple of Solomon was destroyed, and it was a bit bigger, and it also lasted a little bit longer. It lasted for 10 years longer. The first temple lasted for 410 years, and the second for 420 years. Now let's talk a little bit about the shape of the temple, and we'll see how much we can get done over here. Ready? So the temple, let's look from the side over here, and the size of the temple. Okay, let's see. Can we make this bigger? Can we make it bigger? Oh, there it is. Look at that. We made it bigger. Here we go. So let's see. Maybe we can make it bigger than that. No, can we make it bigger than that? No, that's the ultimate. Okay, there we go. Okay, here, this is the size of the, okay, it went like this. There was outside, there was a big courtyard where the altar was. And we'll talk about that big courtyard. The courtyard, at least in the second temple, was 87 amas by 135 amas. An amma is about a foot and a half. An amma is about a foot and a half. So 200 amas is 300 feet. Right? 300 feet. So here we have, first of all, here's we got the altar. The altar is 10 amas. 10 amas wide. 10 amas. Well, no, I'm sorry, not the altar. I made a mistake. The altar, in fact, was 32 amas by 32 amas. That's what it says, the amma. And this is the laver where they would wash their hands from. Okay, so let's just have a look at this from the outside. We talked about this already before. The whole entire thing, there we go. This is what was called the ulam. Before, it was like a pre-room. Then they went into here, there was the candelabra. This was called the holy. There was the candelabra, and then there was the golden altar, and there was the showbread phase. Maybe I'll look for pictures of those, but the pictures are very different, and not very many of them are accurate. And then there was steps that went up, and this is the Holy of Holies. This is the Holy of Holies. Okay, what are the measurements over here? So it says, the Holy of Holies, this was 20 by 20. 20 feet wide and 20 feet deep. Here, see, 20 by 20, like this. That was also called the Devir. Only the high priest went in there, and he went in just for a short amount of time, minutes, on the Yom Kippur, one day of the year. Right? Then there's the Kodesh. This is called the Heichal also. This was 40 by 20. The whole thing was 20 wide, 20. And then we have this pre-room over here. This pre-room, this was 11. Here it says 10, but I mean 11, this is 11 by also the same thing, 20. Then we have the Heichal. The Heichal, that's the whole entire business. This whole entire business was 100 by 100. It was 100 by 100. See, it wasn't 20, it was 70 because it was wider. This ulam went all the way through. So it wasn't, this picture is not 100% accurate. So, and then there were the side rooms, etc. When you added the whole thing up, it came out to be 100 by 100. Why doesn't it say it that way over here? 20 by 20. This is not exactly right. So this is supposed to be 20 here. All right. Anyway, okay. Not important for us how big it was. So that's general picture. Let's go back and we'll see another picture from over, and maybe we'll get a little bit of an idea here. 1 second. Of the, there, see, here's a nice big picture in the end. We got a nice big picture. Here we go. See, there's this picture. So here we have the altar. This was, like we said, it was 32 by 32, and there was a ramp that went up to the altar. The ramp that went up to the altar, this was 30 because it was a side, and 16 long. It was 16 long, right? The altar. Now, this whole business was 100 by 100. This whole thing. It was called 100 by 100. Right. This was called the Heichal. Right. But outside there was a courtyard, and the courtyard. This is also called the woman's section. Even though the woman in the time of the temple, they also built like a higher rampart on the top, so women could stand there and watch everyone dance on Shavuot, on Sukkot, on the holiday of Sukkot. Okay, but this is the Ezra Nashim. This is 135 by 187. That's what we said. That's what the Ezra Nashim. That's how big it was. Good. Okay, now let us go a little bit into the order of the day. What was done in the day? Let's see now the pictures over here. Okay, first of all, let's start off with just a few steps. A few steps in the day. What do they do in the morning? The first thing they did in the morning, the Kohanim, every day in the morning, there were three arrangements of wood. Do we have a picture of that over here? I don't think we do have a picture here. Anyway, there it is. The arrangements of wood. No, we don't have the picture. Okay, so there were three arrangements of wood on the big altar on the outside. Now, the big altar on the outside, that's where they burned up the parts of the animals that they sacrificed. That they began, and the first sacrifice of the day began with the sheep, and the last sacrifice of the day with the sheep. But then there was all sorts of sacrifices in the middle. Okay, so here we go. Let's go. The first thing in the morning was there was a big arrangement of wood. Why is this here? A big arrangement of wood, which was over here. That was on the southeastern corner. That's here. South is this side, and east is over here. Right? You come in from the east. So the southeast, there was a big arrangement of wood over here, and that was set on fire. And the ketoret, the incense, which was burned over here. We'll talk about the incense in a moment. Oh, got a picture of the incense. These are pretty hokey pictures over here. Let's see 1 second. Let's get a look at this here. How did this picture go? Yeah, like these are, you can't get more inaccurate than these pictures. 1 second, let me see. I guess if you come in from this side, 1 second, you come in from this side. So the whole thing is messed up. This whole picture is messed up. The showbread picture, it's supposed to be layers of bread on the top. The poles were here. It's supposed to be, it's like 6 layers. There are levels that the bread was put on. So it's not the leprita bread over here. Also, let's go in. Okay, so also, if this is the entrance, I guess maybe this is not the entrance. I guess this is not the entrance. Okay. This is so poor. I guess this is supposed to be the entrance to the Holy of Holies. If so, this table is supposed to be here. It's supposed to be here. The golden table is here. This is the entrance, right? The table is supposed to be here. And then the candles, the candelabra on this, but this is also inaccurate because it's supposed to be straight. Okay, so pretty much the whole entire picture is pretty wrong. Also, I don't know where they get 2 people are standing there. Who is 2 people standing there? I don't know. There's only supposed to be 1 person that goes in. Okay. All right, so the picture is very inaccurate. That's a big problem with these pictures. I don't know why they just can't look in the Chumash and get the pictures. Okay, so are we recording now? Yeah, we're recording. Okay, so let's go. So first of all, they would make a set wood over here and set it on fire. Then a second arrangement was then placed on the western side of the altar. That was over here. That was over there. Okay. Okay, so let's go. This arrangement of wood, this was for the sacrifices. This arrangement of wood, there was another arrangement of wood. It's not pictured over here. That was for the incense. That was for the incense, and the incense was on the golden altar. That's here. So you see how inaccurate this picture is. It's supposed to, when you go in, the first thing you get to is this golden altar. That's supposed to be here. And this is supposed to be the showbread, not the showbread, the face bread. That's supposed to be on your right side when you go in. And here he put it on the left side. See, this is supposed to, okay, so let's say you go in over here. Here is supposed to be the altar, the golden altar for the incense. That's supposed to be the first thing you see when you come into the holy. And only 1 priest is there. Okay. Then after that, 2 pieces of wood were put on the burning wood arrangement. Where is this? What have we? Maybe we got a picture. Here we go. Then 2 pieces of wood are put over here. This was followed by the removal of the ashes from the inner altar. This is the golden altar here. There was incense burning the whole entire night. So they would take out the ashes from this. Next came the arrangement of the 5 lamps. There were 7 lamps, 7 branches, and 5 of them would be arranged. You would arrange them. Then after that, you took the daily offering. They sacrificed an offering. Here is where the offering, the daily offerings were slaughtered. These rings, there were rings where the animal was held down. It was slaughtered, and the animal was cut up. We'll talk about how it was cut up and put in and then burned on the top. It was happened to be what's called an ola. So the whole entire sacrifice was burned up. And the blood was then sprinkled on the northeastern, which this is the north side, northeast here on the 2 corners here. It was sprinkled. And also on the southwestern over here was sprinkled. That was called 2, which are 4. Then after that, the blood was sprinkled. Then after that, the remaining 2 lamps over here, they were arranged in the same way. They weren't lit yet. They weren't lit. And then just new oil and new wicks. Then the incense was burned. It was offered. And then after that, the parts of the first sheep, which was offered in the daytime, which had been slaughtered and the blood was poured, then the parts were offered here. That's the first thing of the day. And after that, then was a meal offering, which was offered together with the daily offering. And that is enough for today. That's enough for today. So what we see is the whole thing is dynamic. And again, just to stress, what is the point of this whole holy temple? What do you need a holy temple for? And even now, we even pray. Religious Jews, wherever they are, they pray in the direction of the holy temple. And if you're in Jerusalem, you pray in the direction of the holy temple, wherever you are. If you happen to be on this side of the temple, you pray facing this way. And if you're on this side, you pray this way. Why? The whole point of the holy temple is to show the importance of this physical world. To show the importance of this physical world. The holy temple was to remind us not to think about going to heaven. Heaven is not the goal. Heaven is like a consolation prize for people who die. It just happens to be that everybody dies, but in the future, people won't die anymore. There'll be the raising of the dead, and death was really an extra thing. So the temple is to show that going to heaven is not where it's at. It's not the point. This physical world is infinitely, infinitely more holy and blessed and meaningful and happy and whatever you want to call it than all the heavens is possible. And what happens, that's the physical world. And what happens in the physical world? Serving God, which means a lot of times doing things you don't understand at all, like everything I just talked about right now. But on the other hand, if you think about it, nothing is really understandable. People don't understand what light is, what is mass, what is matter. They understand what they do, how the eyes work, how they just understand that they do work. But why it works that way, right? What intelligence is, what is intellect, what is feelings, what is love, what is this? The Greeks, they used to have gods to these things, because everything basically in the world, if you look really into it, it's not understandable. So the point that, I mean, that doesn't justify Judaism, but it does say that not being understandable doesn't disqualify something. So that's the whole idea of the Holy Temple. The Holy Temple was to show how important every detail of this physical world is and will be revealed to be with the arrival of Mashiach. That's why one of the first things Mashiach will do, one of the first things Mashiach will do is to build a temple. First thing Mashiach will do is educate all the Jews. That's the first thing. And also to spread the 7 Noahide commandments to the non-Jews. But the main thing is the Jews first. And then at some point, the Holy Temple, third Holy Temple, will manifest. There's different opinions how much we're going to build, what exactly the part of the Jews are going to be. We're going to have some part in it, but God for sure is going to do the major part of it. Third temple, and then we'll see how important the world is, and the world will be a really beautiful place with Moshiach now.